Welcome to Winning in the Workplace here on WBRP 107.3 FM. I'm with my good friend Maurice Velasquez from Team Real World, and this is the show where we talk about everything business, culture, team morale, engagement, and working better as a team. Hello, Maurice Velasquez.
Hey, Gordy, how are you?
I'm doing great. And look, we've got a third person in the
Yes, we
studio
do.
with us today, Tom Ashley from Expand Incorporated. Good to have you here, Tom.
Good to be here. Thank you, Bo.
Sure, good to see you, Tom.
Well, let's jump right into it. Tom, you've been president of Expand for several years. Tell us about you, Expand, and then we can talk about the work you and Team Real World have been doing.
Thanks, Gordy. With myself, my brother, and our family, father and parents, we started Expand in 1999. We first started doing framing and trim work and cabinetry, and slowly evolved into a remodel and full service company. We got our license and everything, and then we traveled the country learning. We won awards. We've served our Home Builders Association and our community. And in the process, of doing all this stuff, since in 2005, we discovered our true passion, which was helping the agent in place, which is called a Certified Agent in Place Specialist. And that's where where our niche is.
Gordy, Tom and his company appeared a few months ago back in the Baton Rouge Business Report about the work they do with victims in the flood. But recently, 2 weeks ago, was it, Tom?
Yes.
2 weeks ago, they appeared. They had a really great article in the Advocate about the great work that Expand Inc. does in helping people with special needs.
Yeah,
it was a really, really good article.
Yeah, I saw it. Good article. Tom, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the first thing we were called, our clients were referred by another builder that said, we may be a fit. They knew what we did, and we knew how we specialized. And when we were first talked to by the clients, I knew we had to listen, learn, try to figure out, we need to put a team together for this, because we didn't know a whole bunch about that specific area. And we put our team together, our designers. Brought an interior design team in there to partner with, and also included their occupational therapist, which helped us with the details, the finer details, and included the parents in the process. We bounced ideas around with the parents and with their input, and came up with a plan. And the plan was basically to help the child and also be functional for the family, to where they had a good time. Could use the room and the space for. And it needed to be beautiful too. It can't just, functional is one thing, but everybody wants, aesthetics. And that's what the challenge is, and always the funnest part of the project.
Right. Let me ask you this, Tom. Earlier you told us about being this is part of an aging in place program.
Yes.
Yeah. What is that about? What's the Aging in Place program?
Aging in Place is a program that was developed by the National Association of Home Builders, along with the AARP, to provide our aging population, the boomers, with a place to be able to live in their home as long as possible. And it's evolved, the program's evolved, and I've served in it in many capacities at a national level as far as the chairman of the Board of Governors, and it's really a great program.
Okay. And so for folks out there who are listening to the show, how do they know that they could use your services in this program?
Anybody would, an agent, when you say agent in place, everybody thinks it's just for 55 plus. That's not the case. It could be your parents visiting you. You could be a child, your children and your parents are visiting. Or you have a child with special needs, or a caretaker that's helping somebody get around the house. We come in there and we assess, and we make it user friendly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we've got a good 6 minutes or so before our first break. So I want
Sure.
you to take your time, Tom, if you would, take your time through this. You talked about Maurice and you guys hooked up about a year ago,
right?
And from what you told me earlier, Tom, the positive impact to your business has been felt. Would you go a little bit deeper and elaborate on that?
Yeah, when we were set with the task of coming, we needed help. Well, with the flood come about and to scale, we had to figure out something different. We were, keep running across the same problems, and we needed to be, more efficient. I mean, we needed help. So we called Maurice. We sat back. We brought our team in there and evaluated our team, and tried to unlearn these bad habits that we have, and teach us how to build a good, teamwork habits.
Yeah, but let me emphasize here, Gordy, that when they came to me, they came to us at Team Real World. We were impressed just at the level of quality of the existing team. Okay, because a lot of times people think about, well, do I need to be in trouble in order to have a consultant? Okay, does my world need to be upside down for me to go get help? And the answer is no. And Tom is a great example. Tom and his company are a great example of a company that is doing incredible work, a lot of growth, helping a lot of clients, making very good profit. Okay, but then just realizing, how do we get to the next level, especially as we're growing? Okay, how do we become more efficient and more effective? We could be getting there a lot more streamlined if we just had a better sense of how to get this thing more organized. We're probably working way too hard. Help, we're drowning with the amount of unnecessary discussions that we're having. How do we make this work? And that's where we started.
So take me back, Maurice, through you. I've seen a bunch of your vetting meetings when you get everybody in the room,
right?
You get everything up on the board. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, the first meeting was with Tom, and we put it out there, and I asked him some of the basic questions. Tom, where do we want to go? Okay, what is your short-term goal, and what's your long-term goal? Mm-hmm. And just try to boil it down to about 2 or 3 bullets so that we can kind of just wrap our heads around it. And then after about 45 minutes, about an hour of that, we start asking the tougher questions, like, what are some of the internal things that you believe are keeping you from getting there? Okay, and then let's talk about some of the external things. But the internal things is where Tom shared with me just a lot of the different the role definitions, a lot of the not being on the same page together, meetings that were taking an extreme amount of time in discussing things and yet not following through and helping bring together the team. So the first couple meetings was about 2.5 hours each. Right. And we put together a game plan, but then it was to bring the team in and share with them. And you know how it is, Gordy. Sometimes you have to kick the balls out of the room. And so we kicked Tom out of the room and asked them the questions. And, of course, the story changes here because at that point it's not, we're not working efficient. It's Tom's confusing, man. He tells us A on Monday, then he tells us B on Tuesday, then we get this thing. And the way that we're doing the paperwork is in about 16 different directions. And then you begin to realize that they're just running at fast speed, but they're just not on the same page. They got to become more efficient. So by the time we got into the third meeting, it was with all of them in the room and putting together an agreement plan that said, guys, it's an open discussion. No one take it personally. Let's just go wherever the conversation is, and let's put everything on the board that's keeping us from getting there. And that's what we did with his entire leadership team.
Back to you, Tom. What was the hardest part for you of that?
I guess it was, when we got together, scaling with this flood. Coming from 3 employees to about 6 or 7. It was like Maurice said, our system worked where we were comfortable. It fit us. But now adding all these projects and all this stuff, paperwork wasn't set up to go to scale.
Right.
Our team wasn't ready for that.
The meetings you were having just didn't meet the needs anymore. The right people were not at the meetings. And so we had to do a lot of figuring that out.
So, and the best thing was, like Maurice said, mentioned the DISC personality alignment test. That was something that, it helped us realize because, some of our players that on our team, looked back and said, that can't be me.
That was you.
And that was one of us. Yeah.
That's right.
I was one of those. And then the alignment of the roles and keeping everybody on the same page and in their lane. When we grew that quick, it wasn't down on paper, and we needed a systematic approach as opposed to everybody looking toward me. And I needed to get out of this thing.
You need to stay in your lane.
It was scary.
Been there,
me.
done that.
And unfortunately, the executive a lot of times is the one that gets out of the lane, because he's trying to fit in the blanks for everybody else.
Tom, don't feel bad. I dealt with that. The third thing that you've been, what did you learn?
The third thing was what regularly calls the rhythm meeting, what Maurice calls it. And it was. We had to get in a rhythm of everybody coming to the table, bringing out, focusing on what details and problems that we had in one place and not in the field and not on the phone chasing, each other and calling each other by telephone and not connecting and communicating. That was a big thing.
All right. We're going to get to those in our next segment. Maurice, real quick,
Yeah.
for folks that want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
Yeah, they can reach us at 225-772-4357 or shoot me an email at maurice@teamrealworld.com.
All right. When we come back, we'll hear a little bit more about the Rhythm Meeting. I'm Gordy Rush. You listening to Winning in the Workplace on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP.